costs more money, but suit and tie.
Yeah, she's a tall woman, that one.
Okay, Danielle, I guess you've got the mic in hand, you're on. Really?
Thank you very much for having us.
Up to the mouth.
Really close.
Really close.
Good evening. Thank you for having us this evening. My name is Danielle Romine. I'm the regional manager for the North Region of Atlantic and Pacific Management, and this is Matt Smith, our comp controller. I'll let you start.
I'm sorry. Please repeat the name of the
Here, try this one. We are microphone challenged. Try this one.
Hello? Hello? Can you guys hear that?
Yeah, that's fine.
I don't think it was on. How about we try that again, Daniel?
Good evening. My name is Danielle Romine. I'm the regional manager for the North Region of Atlantic and Pacific Management, and this is Matt Smith, the comp controller for Atlantic and Pacific Corporate Office.
Thanks so much for having us tonight. So we wanted to just start off a little bit and tell you guys a little bit about ourselves. We're a fourth generation full service real estate group. We're fully integrated. We are a developer management company with an origin in New York and our footprint now in Florida. We are association management, multifamily management, commercial management. We manage properties as far up as North Palm Beach all the way down to Miami. We have 5 partners. 4 of them are brothers. It's a family-owned company. This is the 4th generation of the Cohen family. The partners work out of our Miami office. From there, we have a Boca Raton office where most of our operations take place. That's our corporate office where all the accounting takes place, the customer service and HR department. As far as our corporate structure goes, we have our managing director, Tom Smith. He works out of the Boca office. He manages all the association management and condo association management. Underneath him, he has his regional managers, one of them being Danielle. And this would be a good time for Danielle to talk a little bit about what the regional manager's role is and what our structure is as far as what the regional does and as far as the back office support.
As the regional manager, my job is to not only be the liaison for the property manager and the board of directors through the corporate office. I am responsible to visit the site 1 time a week to ensure that all the daily operations of your property manager are being adhered to, along with all the rules and regulations of your association. I also ensure that either if it's a weekly or a monthly report by the board of directors is issued to you on the daily operations and work orders and details going on within the community, but I also ensure that there's a property inspection being done monthly. I also do a quarterly inspection with your property manager to ensure that all those items are taken care of. In addition to, I make sure that your invoicing that comes from your vendors, anybody that you work with, is coded properly, is turned over in the same day or at least within the same week that it is received to the corporate office, so that it can be further handled by the accounting team and checks can be cut accordingly as the board desires for payment. I also make sure that your vendors are adhering to the contracts in which they're agreed upon for your site. Make sure that bids are taken if you're looking to change your vendors, that they are at least 3 taken so that you have the comparison to review any and all details within your proposals, and make sure that they're adhering to the individual requests of the property manager should there be individual details, i.e. like landscaping, if there's concerns on landscaping, that they are met directly. that they are also meeting and handling all your customer service needs from the owners, the clients of Atlantic and Pacific. We make sure that we're meeting your requests. If you have concerns, we're here to listen to those. We're here to address those. Make sure that those concerns are also brought to the board's attention so that you know what's going on, what your owners are looking for, what they're wanting to know. I also work directly with the Atlantic and Pacific corporate staff to make sure that all the needs for the property manager are met, meaning if they need HR support, if you have a maintenance technician, that the training, the safety expectations, any preventive maintenance on your site are handled by the HR department. Your accounting team, we will have a specific representative for your accounts receivable, your accounts payable. They will be on that one-on-one basis to handle any concerns for billing, process of payments, vendor requests, making sure that everybody receives a W-9 and insurance, so that you have licensed and insured vendors on your site. I am your back door. When the property manager is not present, I will be that person who is here to ensure that your site still functions on a daily basis. And that if you prefer to have questions or concerns come to me, I handle those concerns accordingly, and I take those to the corporate office as well.
One of the unique things that we have at Atlantic and Pacific Management is a regional chief engineer. And what this person does is act as a supervisor and person in charge over the maintenance team at all of our properties. So the chief engineer dedicates 2 days a week to visiting properties. So your property would get visited twice a year. Initially, he's going to come in, he's going to walk the property, he's going to do a full-blown inspection and set up a preventative maintenance report, which will then be followed by the maintenance staff in place. He's going to follow back up in 6 months and make sure everything's being followed properly. He's going to walk the property again and do another site visit and inspection and provide that to the manager and the regional to follow up on. He also helps out and tracks anything in the bidding process, make sure that that 3 bids are always obtained, makes any recommendations that he feels are necessary to make sure that the client is getting the best bids possible. He's going to establish and propose solutions to any lower maintenance expenses for the community. He's going to monitor and review any fire and life safety systems, HVAC, plumbing, electrical, refrigeration, pool equipment, any other systems as well. And he creates a detailed engineering inspection report that notes the status of equipment as well as structural and safety issues. He's also an area of support and lifeline if there's ever any questions or assistance needed from the maintenance staff. And finally, we do spend a lot of time focusing on preventative maintenance. Our theory being that you can probably prevent most of your large R&M expenditures just by performing monthly or daily, weekly, monthly preventative maintenance. So establishing the preventative maintenance checklist up front really helps to save you on the back end for any large repair and maintenance issues, because you should either know about them or help to hopefully avoid them by doing the preventative maintenance. Another thing that we bring to the table is a preferred or approved vendor list. These are vendors that we have worked with in the past at other properties that we make sure they're licensed and insured. Because of our relationship with the amount of properties that we manage, we're able to offer discounted pricing, which we then pass along to you as the client. There's full disclosure on our relationship, and the way that they become preferred vendors is because they do good work, and we've experienced that in the past, and there's nothing else other than we just want to provide good vendors to our clients and pass along a discount if we can. And we're able to use our leverage of managing a number of properties to pass that along to you. So next we wanted to talk a little bit about our human resources team, and maybe Danielle can talk a little bit about some of the support that she receives from the HR staff and our back office. It's a team of, I think, 7 now. We have our human resources director, Nicole, has been with us almost 10 years. She runs her team we have almost 600 employees that we manage She handles recruitment, background and drug and screening for all the new hires, time and attendance management, payroll administration, employee relations. We've also partnered with ADP Total Source, so we have added level of support with our HR team. And Danielle can talk a little bit about some of the support that she receives at the property level from HR.
As it applies to the HR department, they're not only there to ensure that you have a skilled and trained manager for your site, that manager gets the proper training prior to even stepping foot on your property, so that they're fully knowledgeable about how AMP works if they're new to our company. In addition to making sure that they understand the overall ADA compliances to the standard protocol of handling your customers and your clients. In addition to, if they have concerns about needing additional training, additional follow through with counseling, if they're dealing with an issue as it applies to one of their employees on site, maybe a maintenance technician, where they would follow through with a counseling measure of having that open communication to ensure that it's properly handled. In addition to, if you need additional employees for your site, they are there to go to the pool, we call it, looking for candidates that fit your qualifications for your site. What exactly you're looking for to maintain your property, to ensure that the standard of that individual meets the conduct and character that you're looking for. Also, as well as following through with the payroll. They handle all our payroll and timing and PTO, which is personal time off. They make sure that all that is calculated appropriately, that it's done on a weekly basis, that it's all check and balance. We make sure there's no guesswork to that avenue. In addition to just overall, any questions that you may have for your property manager that you may not feel comfortable either asking your property manager or myself, you can certainly call the HR department directly and they will answer those questions for you. We are an open door. We're here to serve you. So those questions are open for us to address accordingly.
So let's talk about the fun stuff, accounting, my favorite subject. So, we're a full charge accrual-based accounting in accordance with GAAP. In the accounting team, you're going to receive a dedicated assistant controller who's going to be in charge of putting together the full financial package at the end of each month. You'll have a dedicated accounts payable clerk and a dedicated accounts receivable clerk managing the payables and the receivables for your property. These people are fully accessible to you as the board to speak to about any matters. At the end of each month, we're going to put together the full financial package, which will be presented to the board. The board can always contact me for any questions, any comments, anything at all. My phone is always available. I'm always available through email. We'll go through the financial if before it's issued to the rest of the association. At the end of each year, we put together our annual budget. We will work as a back office team with the front office team to make sure that the budget is put together, and by the time it's presented to the board, it's been fully vetted by both the manager, the regional, the controller, the assistant controller. Everybody's had their feedback, their input to make sure that by the time it gets in front of the board, there's detailed notes and everything's been accounted for and gone through, and then it's just about making any small tweaks and adjustments that we need to make. Then of course we'll coordinate the budget mailing, and of course Danielle will be involved in the budget meeting. I'm always available for any budget meetings, if you want the controller's input. And of course one of the biggest differences that I think we have is the input and insight that we get on the financials from the management staff. We really stress the importance of the manager understanding the numbers and really taking ownership for those numbers. So we hold monthly variance meetings where the manager and the regional spend about 15 minutes with upper level management, going through their income statement, their P&L, making sure that there's proper comments next to each variance, either high or low, that by the time it gets in front of your eyes as the board, it's been fully vetted and reviewed by at least 6 or 7 sets of eyes, so that by the time it gets to you, you should have a very clear understanding. It should be a very clear comment about why you're over or under budget and what we're doing to alleviate that. So we do variance reports, like I said, where we do comment on each and every line. We do focus in on the areas of variance and make sure that our managers are taking ownership for those areas of variance. We also have our customer service team, and the customer service team is available regular business hours. They're there to assist with any payment issues. If you want to make a payment by phone, they're available for that. As far as payments go, we offer all services for accepting payment. We have our lockbox service, ACH direct debit. You can pay by credit card. You can pay over the phone. You can pay online. Basically, any way that you want to pay, we'll accept. You can drop off the payment in the office. We have bank scanners that we offer that can be scanned right into the account that day. Our customer service team assists with collections. What we like to do, especially in the beginning, is go right through the delinquency report and get involved with collection calls right off the bat. You have a dedicated customer service person at the corporate office that will handle all the late letters and any other delinquent phone calls that need be. There's also the community website, which we will assist with the website development and maintenance. This will give all the owners access to their accounts. If they want to log in, they can view their history. That's where they can also make a payment online. You can have an event calendar where everyone has access to it and can see all the different events going on in the community. You can do email blasts to the community through that. And there is an exclusive board of directors section where only board members have access to for any board-only type documents or communication. So finally, we'll just talk a little bit about our first 100 days, which is very important when we would hit the ground running. The initial setup is we make sure that we get our regional engineer over to do his initial site visit and set up the preventative maintenance schedule. Our accounting team is going to take a look at the financials and then especially the delinquency report and start going through and making phone calls. We're going to go through all your contracts and make sure everything is up to speed. Perhaps bid them out if we feel that you're not paying what's a competitive amount. Make recommendations to you for whatever we might see in the way of contracts or after Julio, our chief engineer, does a site visit, anything having to do with maintenance. We're going to establish and propose solutions to any of the lower level maintenance expenses for the community. After 30 days, we're going to begin our real management services. We're going to do the contract analysis. We're going to do the full property inspection, preventative maintenance schedule, and we'll have a board meeting to discuss the takeover process. After 60 days, we'll do a 60-day inspection. We'll have our first board variance meeting. You'll receive the first set of financial reports, and we'll discuss those financials and results. And then finally, after 100, we'll present the board with our contract analysis. We'll have our second variance meeting. We'll do a 90-day inspection, a 90-day employee evaluations will be done, and we'll have a board meeting to discuss all the results.
Thank you, Matt. Danielle, do you attend board meetings?
Yes, I do, all of them.
She's a very busy lady. And Matt, would you just very briefly explain the protocol for budget prep so that the board gets a good budget to begin with?
Sure. So we have a budget template that we use in the accounting department, and it has subschedules for most of the bigger expenses: payroll, insurance, contract services, license permits. So our accounting team will work on setting up the template for the following year and inputting everything that we can input and that we know. So That would be your payroll information, contract services, making sure that any increases are taken into account if they're under contract. We make sure your insurance information is entered in correctly. We'll get an estimate from the agent and make sure at renewal that's taken into account. Then once that's set up, we'll go ahead and send that to the manager for their first review. The manager's going to review it. They're going to provide their input on any special projects or any expenses that maybe can be tweaked up or down based on their knowledge of the on-site property and what is going to be needed in the following year. The regional is going to review that and make sure that nothing has been missed and everything is taken into account. There's detailed notes added for each line item so that everything has proper support and everything makes sense, so nobody's asking where did that number come from or why is it different from last year to this year. Our main budget page shows last year's budget, this year's budget, and a variance column for what the differences are. So it's very clear to see if there are changes, what went up, what went down, and then you have a proper explanation on it. So by the time it's in the board's hands, it's very clear as to where these numbers came from, and there's really lots of backup for it. So if there's any changes, it's pretty easy to make them at that point.
Okay, what is your contract termination provisions?
We usually do a 30-day out, with or without cause.
And how do you handle your manager's time off? Vacation, sick time? Are we going to see somebody here, or are we?
Yeah, sorry. Yes. We have coverage from the regional manager, or if there's another manager available to cover at that point in time, but you'll always have a CAM licensed manager that will be covering any time off.
How about meetings, training sessions, and so forth? Do you have required meetings that your manager has to attend?
Well, I mentioned the monthly variance meetings. It's actually, we have one every month. Your manager would be required to attend every other month, but we would probably do it through WebEx. It's about 15 minutes, and they may have to attend once or twice a year. Then we also have our semi-annual managers meetings, which are really beneficial for your manager because they're education sessions. I mean, there's, Danielle can talk. I mean, it's 5 or 6 hours of, there's continuing ed for the CAM, which is great, but also just managerial training sessions that are offered through our HR department and ADP that really help support the manager and are more beneficial than anything else. But those would be twice a year. And then we also have quarterly manager trainings that also focus in on some form or fashion of managing a staff. And
well, the reason I'm asking, we just want consistent management hours in our office.
Right.
And we don't want it changing on a weekly or monthly basis.
Sure. Well, consistently it would be your set hours, but there would be some training sessions, and ultimately it's you as the board's decision. I mean, we would recommend that your manager attend them because, people are our greatest asset, and we'd like to train them to the best of their abilities, which hopefully will service your property.
You handle all the billing locally?
I'm sorry?
You handle all billing locally?
Billing for the
Yeah,
association fees?
Yes, all association bills, invoices, and so forth for payment, they're handled locally?
You mean here or at our corporate office?
Yes, I mean, not in the state of Texas.
No, everything's handled here. Everything's processed through our corporate office in Boca, so invoices would come here and be reviewed and coded by the property manager. Those approved invoices would go to our corporate office where they would be entered, checks would be issued. If the board signs checks, we would send those checks back down for signature. We also have digital signature or online approval available, where you can go online and approve invoices, and once they're approved, a check would be issued with a signature on them. As far as billing goes, billing is processed in our corporate office. Our lockbox is a P.O. box in Miami, but like I said, there's multiple ways of payment. You can pay online, sign up for ACH, drop your check off at this office, come to our Boca office and drop it off. Whatever's easiest and most comfortable is the way we want to accept people. So. We also have our courier service, which is twice a week, picks up and drops off at the property in our corporate office. So twice a week you're going to get property deliveries from our office to this site and vice versa.
So the manager doesn't have to leave the site
No,
to
no,
take
definitely
stuff
not.
to corporate office?
Absolutely not, no.
That's included?
Yeah, I think it's included, it was $50 a month for the courier service.
Will you allow modification of your contract, or is your contract written in stone? Like, if we send it to our attorneys for review and there's things that they have a problem with?
Sure, send it to them, whatever they have, we'll take a look at. You know, we definitely allow modifications.
Okay. How about locking in the price for 2 years if we, with the same termination clause, but we can negotiate the price for 2 years?
We can discuss that. Generally, if we're locking in a price for 2 years, we prefer to negotiate our clause, but if we can talk about that.
Okay. And we can also talk about the price. If we decide we're going to go with your company, we can negotiate anything you've submitted to us?
Yeah, we can definitely negotiate. I think we submitted a few different options too, but we can have a discussion about that.
And we're going to see you weekly? Weekly.
You personally, if you want me to see.
I am here to make sure that everything on your property runs smoothly. All your concerns are met, your manager is doing their job. If you have a maintenance is being adhered to. All your preventive maintenance details, concerns, your pool area back there, everything is being adhered to. The way that you're paying for our service, this is what we're here for.
Did you get to see our property in the daylight?
I did a drive-through actually this weekend, as a matter of fact. You have a very large community. At first view, if I can speak frankly, there would be some concerns. There's some curb appeal that I would want to address. You have a beautiful community that's very large. I would question who is actually responsible for the hedges, because those are out of control.
You just opened Pandora's box.
Sorry, this is my job. In addition to, you have a lot of weeds in your common area, grass line, your pool area. There is some green-like mildew on the side of your clubhouse. It could stand to be power washed. I don't know when the last time you've had a paint job, but I think power washing with a great mildewcide would do the trick. The walkway, it was a little rainy when I did come through, so it was a little bit slick. This being a 55 and older community, I would be concerned about preventive maintenance to make sure that that is not an issue. You have a lattice back here in the pool area that's got a hinge, looks like an extra hinge coming off of it. That's a liability. That needs to either be taken off, or that whole fixture that's duct taped at the bottom, that needs to come off. Those are some direct concerns, but overall, you have a great community. It just needs some TLC.
Thank you.
Are the control charts available online? These, the maintenance tasks that are tracked on the control charts, can we see those online? Oh, thank you.
Any other questions?
What is the turnover time if there is a concern with one of the board members needs to talk to you? How long does it take you to follow up and address our concerns?
I have a phone that's on 24 hours a day, and the email never stops. I always respond promptly. If I can get to you in the same day, I definitely do so. Otherwise, I'll set up that direct meeting. Obviously, I'm available after hours, so I'm there available. Again, this is what we're here for. I'm here to address your concerns, make sure that they're adhered to, and that it's handled properly to your satisfaction.
And then just to address our service contracts that we have, are you responsible to ensure that our service contracts, their certificates of insurance are updated and
Absolutely.
in file and they haven't expired?
Absolutely. We actually create a vendor binder on your site with every vendor that you are working with. We make sure that their certificate of license, their permit with the state, their W-9, any other insurance that applies to that, and a copy of their contract. We also make sure that the manager is following up to ensure that those renewal insurances are coming in on a regular basis so that there is never a lapse, there's never a problem, that you have someone working on your site that's not licensed and insured.
Just from a back office perspective too, we have our software which actually tracks insurance, and when it comes up for expiration, it gives you a signal which triggers our AP team to get with the manager. We need an updated certificate of insurance, and it's just an extra layer of security to make sure that that's being followed up on and tracked, and we won't pay a vendor until we get that update. So,
Any other questions? Well, we want to thank you for your presentation.
Thank you very much for having us.
Most likely,
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Danielle. Thank you.
They were very professional.
Oh.